Thorne was a fox, born beneath a hawthorn tree on the northern edge of a fox village hidden deep within elder wood. Her fur, a darker red than the others, earned her name, and her eyes, sharp and silver, often drew side glances. From the very start, she was different, but she was kind. She brought food to her weaker siblings, stayed up to warm the younger ones when frost crept in, and let the elders have first pick at every kill. She smiled when she was left out of games. She gave even when she received nothing in return. There was something ancient in the way she looked at the world, as if she could already see its cruelty and chose to offer gentleness anyway. Still the whispers grew, too strange, too quiet, too intense. When her father died in a river accident, the family changed. Her mother, once warm and present, grew silent and distant. Her siblings began to mimic the other fox's cruelty, avoiding her gaze, mocking her soft voice, pushing her aside during hunts. The community didn't help. If anything, they began blaming her for things she hadn't done. Missing berries, broken traps, strange sounds in the night. Once, someone accused her of cursing a newborn cub because she had looked at it too long. She begged her mother to speak up, to defend her, to say that she had done nothing wrong, but her mother only looked away. One evening, under heavy skies, after a feast she wasn't allowed to attend, they told her to leave. No explanation, no trial, no goodbye, just exile. Thorne wandered the silent forest alone. Days bled into weeks. Kindness turned into silence. Silence turned into wariness. Wariness into sharp teeth, quicker snarls, and narrowed eyes. She ate what she could kill. She slept curled in hollow trees, and the more the cold pressed in, the harder her heart became. She became the fox mothers warned their cubs about, the shadow among branches, the eerie howl at twilight. She prowled alone, carved a den in stone, and trusted no one. Her name, once whispered with sympathy, became legend for fear. But none of that made the ache go away. She still dreamt of her father's laugh, of the way the sun had touched the hawthorn leaves on the day she was born. She still paused at the sight of injured creatures, only to scold herself and walk on. She still wanted to be held, until she met the wolf. It was a bitter winter. Thorne was circling a frozen stream, hunger clamping her belly like iron jaws. She spotted a deer, small, limping, easy prey. But before she could pounce, another shadow emerged from the trees, massive, silent, fierce. A gray wolf. They locked eyes. back off, Thorne snarled, her voice low and rough from solitude. The wolf didn't flinch. You're not the only one who's hungry. She lunged, he dodged, he lunged, she bit. Snow flew, claws flashed, but no blood was drawn. Only challenge, only heat, only the pulsing reminder, I am alive. Eventually, panting, they stopped. You fight like someone with no one left, he said. I am no one, she snapped, eyes blazing. But the wolf, his name was Kale, didn't leave. The next night, he followed her trail, and the next, he brought meat. He didn't speak much, didn't pry, but he stayed, even when she growled, even when she showed her teeth, even when she told him she didn't need anyone. I don't want your company, she said once. That's fine, he said. I'm here for mine. She hated how calm he was, how solid, how he looked at her like he saw her, not just the growls and the fury, but the shivering heart underneath. He challenged her in silence, matched her in strength, but never sought to dominate or tame her. He listened when she spoke, and when she didn't, he still stayed. He didn't pity her. He didn't try to fix her. He simply allowed her to be. Slowly, painfully, she began to unravel. They hunted together. She let him share her den. When she had night terrors, waking with a scream, Kale never spoke. He simply rested a paw near hers, not touching, just close. One night, under a sky silvered with frost, she asked, "Why do you stay?" Kale looked at her, the firelight dancing in his eyes. "Because I see the way you look at the stars when you think no one's watching. Because I see the way you can't walk past a wounded bird without freezing. Because even your rage is honest." You're not bad, Thorne. You're wounded. Something cracked. She turned away. I tried to be good once. It didn't matter. They hated me anyway. He stepped closer. Then don't be good. Be true. Be wild. Be cruel if you must. I'll still stay. She broke then, not with tears, but with trembling, letting her head rest against his chest, and Kale didn't say a word. He just held the space for her to fall apart. Their love was not soft at first. It was made of scars and shadows, mistrust and fierce loyalty. Thorne didn't know how to let someone in. Kale didn't ask her to. He simply stayed long enough that the walls no longer made sense. She began to talk about the village, the ache of exile, the confusion of being punished for her goodness. How she would have died for her family, and how they let her die in spirit instead. Kale listened, not with pity, but with understanding, born of his own pain. He too had been cast out, not by a village, but by a pack that feared how deeply he felt. They said I was too emotional to lead, he admitted once, too loyal to those who didn't earn it, too merciful. And so the wolf and the fox, both broken by the very traits that made them noble, made a life together. They chased rivers in spring, they napped under gold trees in autumn. They argued often. Thorne's temper flared, and Kale's quiet pushed her buttons, but they always returned to each other. With time, their den became more than a refuge. It became a home. One day, many seasons later, a group of young foxes wandered into their woods. Thorne hid at first, old habits, old wounds. But one of them, shy, curious, approached and said, "Are you the Thorne from the stories? The one who survived the exile? The one who made the wolves stop hunting the deer?" Thorne blinked. "I am." "They say you're terrifying," said another, stepping forward, "but also that you protected the forest when the fire came, that you led birds to safety, that you taught even wolves to share." Thorne looked at Kale. He nodded. She stepped out of the shadows. "The stories are true," she said, "but they're not the whole story. I was hated for my softness. I became cruel so no one could hurt me again. But one wolf stayed, and because he did, I learned something I want you to remember." The foxes listened, ears perked. "You don't have to be only one thing, not soft or fierce, not light or shadow. You can be both, you can be everything. And even if others fear that, some will love you for it." She watched them go, feeling not the pain of exile, but the peace of knowing who she was. That night, beside the fire, Kale whispered, "You're not alone anymore." She pressed her forehead to his. "I never was. I just didn't know it." And in the deepest forest, beneath the oldest stars, Thorne the fox slept in a den filled with love, not because she had changed who she was, but because she had embraced it. Every part. And the moral is, sometimes the world rejects what it doesn't understand. In protecting ourselves, we may become hardened, sharp-edged, unrecognizable even to ourselves. But love does not require us to erase our pain. It asks only that we reveal our truth. You are not meant to choose between your strength and your softness, not between shadow and light. You can be both. You are both, and the ones who matter, they will love you as both.